Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez here. I'm going to try to answer a question that was posed to me by a viewer. Basically, he wants to know how to repeatedly resize images to an 8:10 ratio so that it can be then printed onto 11 by 8.5 paper or letter size paper, and then he will be able to trim the paper down to a perfect 8:10 without losing any detail that would be possibly lost due to imposed margins by the printer. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to check this document that I created in Photoshop. And as you can see, it's 8.5 by 11 at 360 pixels per inch. This is good for an Epson printer. That is the native resolution for Epson. Had it been a Canon printer, I would have then changed it to 300 pixels per inch. We'll go ahead and open up a usable image for this project. Here's my sister-in-law's little daughter, gorgeous little girl. We'll go ahead and drag this over. And as you can see, it is huge, positively huge, and definitely not an 8:10. It's actually more of a 2:3 ratio image. We'll go ahead and resize it using the Shift button. Try to get it to fit. Yeah, that would be great, but it is not an 8:10. So what we need to do in order to be able to create these 8:10s out of any image, and believe me, you will have to crop, unfortunately. There's no way that you can get away doing this without having to crop your original image. So here it is. We'll open it again. And while we have this open, I'll go ahead and attach it to the top. We'll get our crop tool, click on it, scroll down, and here we have a 4:5, and gosh, it says 8:10. So this will create an instant crop. And as you can see, you have to lose some of the detail on the top, some of the detail on the bottom. I mean, I shot this to fit into a 2:3 ratio, 2:3. And so it's not going to work very well for an 8:10, but if that's what you have to have, then this is the way to do it. So basically, you're going to align this as best you can, double click, apply that crop. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and size this to an 8:10. We're going to crop it. We now have to go to image size, and we will go ahead and change this to the width to 8 and 10. And if you notice, I have this unlocked, so I'll be able to do that without any problem. So here it is now. It is an 8:10, 360 pixels per inch. I'll drag it over, and look at that. Fits perfectly. So there it is, an 8:10. Now you can send this to the printer and trim it afterwards right to the edges, and you'll have a perfect 8:10, which contains all of the image information that you cropped. Okay, remember, you have to crop. Unless you're shooting with a 4:5 ratio camera, you will have to crop. Okay, so that is the catch. But yeah, it's easy to do, and you can just do it. It just takes a few steps for you to do it. So we'll go ahead and get out of here for now. I'll go ahead and save that because I want to have it for future use. Go ahead and open Lightroom, and I'll show you how much easier it is to do in Lightroom. Now, unlike Photoshop, I could, of course, crop this using the crop tool to an 8:10 ratio, but it's not necessarily required that you do so. So let's go ahead and back out of that. Basically, just choose an image. Any image will do. Some images will be better suitable for cropping to an 8:10 ratio. Some will not be. So let's go ahead and choose my little grandson sitting on a swing about to be pushed by mommy. And so we'll go ahead and, without cropping this, we'll just jump right onto the printer module and let it refresh. Now, what we have to do is in the printer setup or page setup, we will choose a printer. Doesn't matter which printer it is. We'll choose letter size right here, 8.5 by 11. And as you can see, it is doing the best it can to print that image onto a letter size document with the minimum borders, as you can see. And we'll go ahead and maximize the space that is actually printable within an 8.5 by 11. But we really want to have an 8:10, an image fitted onto an 8:10. So it's very easy. All you have to do, don't even bother with the margins. All you have to do is create a cell size. And that's the magic of Lightroom. We'll click right here to select that. We're going to set up a height of 10. And on the opposite, the width of 8. And there we go. instant 8x10 onto a piece of 11 by 8.5 paper or letter size. Isn't that much easier, folks? And you can actually drag your photograph around, your image around, until you get the correct crop or the correct fit for this particular image. And it could be any other image as well. Let's go ahead and pick. Here's Nathan trying to escape. Here's Nathan being fed on the swing. As you can see, I can then move around my image up and down until I get the best composition forced to a 4:5 ratio, which in this case 8:10. In Photoshop, you have to then crop it. You have to crop it and then decide on the correct crop or compositional crop. From the very beginning here, there's no need. You're actually loading full-size images directly off the camera. Pick, for instance, this one. And when we go over to the print module, there it is. I can move it around until I get the best compositional crop. And that's it. Right there is perfect. We go ahead and send that right to the printer. And next, and next, and next, and next. I don't have to manipulate anything. I don't have to pre-crop anything. Load them and print them. Load them, shift a little bit, and print them. Everything then will print to perfect 8:10. And then you can go ahead and trim them off borderless if you wish. So as you can see, this is a much, much easier process. And Lightroom is just perfect for this. Here we go. You see, that's perfect. Right there. Print that just like that, and you are good to go. All right. That is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed watching the differences, how to achieve the same result on Photoshop, which is a lot more difficult to do, as opposed to Lightroom, which makes it extremely simple and easy to do. And this could have been any size print. He also wanted to know how to print to, say, onto 11 by 17 paper and say create something, let's just say 10 by 15. So 10 is the width, the height is 15. Boom, 10 by 15 onto 11 by 17 paper, and then you go ahead and print it and trim it off, and you are good to go. And it's a perfect way, although you are wasting a little bit of paper because you're fitting smaller prints onto larger paper. This will keep you from having to print borderless, which crop the image off anyway. And then you end up saturating your plate and sponges with overspray ink, which is bad, bad, bad for your printer. So consider using this technique. Yes, it will cost you a little bit of extra paper because this will be trimmed off and thrown away, but you will get perfect full image borderless prints, which you will never get using the built-in borderless setting on your printer driver. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.